What's your second half outlook? So technically, gambling's consumer discretionary. Over the last month, those stocks have been the best performers. Do you see the consumer continuing to be willing to spend on just about everything, including gaming?
I think when you couch it in the context of consumer, and yes, gambling does appear to be consumer discretionary on the surface. The way we look at Las Vegas, which is one of the points Contessa made, is that it's really a convention, event, and destination market. And because of the logistics and just the large numbers of people involved, that has taken longer to recover and is still accelerating. And so we do have a bullish view on Las Vegas, and the stocks there are MGM and Caesars, because, as you point out, the Formula One is coming to Las Vegas for the first time in November, followed by the Super Bowl early next year. And with all the sports events, concerts, the Sphere opening behind the Venetian, there's just a lot going on in Las Vegas and a lot to like.
Yeah, you mentioned the Super Bowl. Before that even starts, we obviously have the NFL season, which is, generally the busiest time when it comes to gambling overall. Also, during the pandemic, we saw a rise in digital gaming. So when you put those two forces together, the NFL coming back and digital gaming, do we continue to see people spending on these digital platforms? And is that a higher margin business for these gaming operators?
To answer your last question first, no, it's not yet. But the importance of you raising the point is that digital gaming has only been legal in this country for a couple of years now and is pivoting to profitability this year, where there's been a period of investment and spending. And going into this NFL season, expectations are very, very high for both MGM and Caesars, as I mentioned, to pivot to profits in their digital business, as well as some of the other players that I think Contessa mentioned, such as DraftKings, that is expecting a big profit for the fourth quarter of this year for the first time. And I think that's what has the street very focused on those stocks continuing to rise through the remainder of this year.
All right, we're talking a lot about Las Vegas. I also want to touch on some of the things on the other side of the world, including Macau. We've seen an uneven recovery in China. We just talked about some somewhat disappointing services data. I know that doesn't relate directly to the gaming sector, but in general, we've seen a softer economy than China than many people expected. Does that extend to Macau as well?
It does, and I think at some point the macro backdrop for Macau will start to come into play, and whatever government stimulus support may or may not occur will become much more relevant. For now, we are just, and I was over in March to see Macau for the first time in a couple of years, just getting the access, just getting the airlift from mainland China, just getting people comfortable back and traveling again. And so Macau is really just starting to recover to some state of new normal. And the importance, Frank, of the new normal is that VIP junket business in Macau has largely been made illegal. And so that's gone away. And it just changes the business calculus of what's happening in Macau. But it is returning to some new normal at some higher profitability.